Alright, well, now I'm gonna find out if Outer Worlds 2 is worth me playing. I know it's not worth me buying, but is it worth me playing? Is it worth me getting a Game Pass subscription just to play this game? Probably not. I'd probably rather buy it anyway. Or maybe wait for it on sale if it's actually good. But here's my guess. It's mid. It's not bad. It's not good. Definitely not great. And it's definitely not a spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas like they tried to say the first one was, and it definitely wasn't. Although I did kind of enjoy it, it was just missing a lot of soul, and it really was not a spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas. And people are gassing the fuck up this game. So you know what that means. It's probably not going to meet expectations. So let's see what MrMattyPlays has to think about this. 'Cause he played it for a while.
Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today. Hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. And today, we're finally gathering to talk about The Outer Worlds 2. How did it do? I've logged 30 hours, not done yet, but I've got a lot to say in these first impressions. Now, Outer Worlds 2 is out tomorrow if you buy the really expensive.
Already red flag is the colors. The colors are flat and they're teal, and it looks too 3D animated. There's not enough style, not enough differentiation between other games. And it looks like it's a prettified BioShock kind of vibe with the boxes and stuff. And I'm just not into it.
Premium edition. Otherwise, you can pick it up.
Yeah, dude. There's
$70.
fucking every single time.
Premium edition. Otherwise,
The purples and the teals and the turquoise, it's like color slop all the time. And then everything else around it is just flat and brown and orange, which would be great for everything to be flat, brown, and orange if that was the vibe. But they also got to throw in these colors to catch your eye. And I fucking hate it, man.
you can pick it up October 29th, $70, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Or, of course, it's on Game Pass. Now,
Am I looking at Borderlands 4 right now? Because that's what it looks like. They all look the same. All these games look the fucking same.
There's a lot to be said about how The Outer Worlds 2 hit every conceivable landmine leading into its launch. Whether it was the fault of Obsidian or Xbox, it was not smooth. Everything from hands-on previews like the one I participated in a couple of months ago that just felt very cagey and lacked confidence, all the way to the pushed $80 price tag, or the hardly convincing Companions trailer that came out during...
Do they put a filter on every single area you go in? Because it seems like there's a color filter. Everything's got the same kind of color vibe. And that's just not how things work, man.
Gamescom opening night live. It's been messy, to say the least. But perhaps worst of all was the concern growing around the quality of Obsidian's RPGs, and that was with Avowed at the top of this year, which I also reviewed.
Yeah.
The problem for many was that Obsidian was making non-RPG games better than what they were known for. I've never really co-signed the idea that Obsidian's a bad studio now, like I see so many say.
No, it's just mid. It's just a mid studio. It'd be better if they were a bad studio.
In the comments, games like Pentiment, Grounded, Grounded 2, all have reviewed exceptionally from fans and critics alike, and the latter in Grounded has sold better than almost anything else Obsidian has done. Where I do align with people is the uncomfortable feeling I got when we played Avowed, and it was a lackluster RPG. More importantly...
Yeah, and everybody tried to gas me up, tried to gaslight me into thinking that I was a bad person for not saying that this was a 10 out of 10. And I never said that it's like a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10. You can look back. All I did was complain about the characters, complain about the colors, complain about the mid gameplay where it was kind of just trying to stroll you along just so you could have an experience in this game. And blah. And the story was off. The writing was bad. The characters were stagnant, static. And like, it just looks bad, plays bad, feels bad, but not like actually bad. Just like 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 bad. Which is worse than actual bad, because actual bad is fun a lot of times, and it's funny.
The writing was straight up bad, the companions uninteresting, and the world was incredibly static. It felt old, dated, like Obsidian had been lapped at their own game. From there, I set on defining Duke that Obsidian's RPGs should be on watch. It's no longer how it was with the likes of KOTOR 2, New Vegas, South Park, and The Outer Worlds 1, where I feel you could take it to the bank and expect some level of greatness. So I say all of that to say, I think a lot of pressure fell to The Outer Worlds 2 to deliver, especially for me because a lot of my confidence in their future RPGs really hinged on this game. Were to have missed,
Oh god, man, I just don't like the colors.
Obsidian would have been on a
They
path.
really clash, and then also the sky is green and there's too much green. Like, they do not know how to do colors. And so many companies do this exact same shit. Like, if you change the colors to normal colors, it looks like every other Unreal Engine game. I'm sorry. I think that's literally the reason why they made it look like this, is to make it look different than all the other Unreal Engine games, but it just has that Unreal vibe. And it's not Unreal Engine's fault, because you can make stuff look different. It's just they all use the same tools at these corporations, and it makes everything look the same, because they're trying to cut corners and save money, because they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars.
RPG redemption. Fortunately for me, after 30 hours with The Outer Worlds 2, I've been really digging it. And if there was one way I could put it into a nutshell for all of you to understand where my brain is at with this game, it's everything I wanted from Starfield. A Mass Effect cross Fallout RPG.
Okay.
It's exactly that, and it just has scratched that part of my brain and
I don't like the way that character looks.
my heart in a way that
I don't like the colors.
I can't help but be addicted to the game. I've been playing 5-6 hours a night easily ever since I started putting my hands on my first playthrough, and I went in skeptical, jaded, and by the end
Okay, this looks good. This right here, this looks amazing.
of my second
Actually,
session, I
like, this looks like probably what Borderlands 4 should have been.
think they might got it. So I'm one of the
Better than Starfield, most definitely. I think Avowed was better than Starfield.
rare people who enjoyed Starfield at launch, but it's undeniable that it was missing 3 core pillars that make Bethesda games worth playing, in my opinion, and that's exploration, role-playing mechanics, and good loot. And it's these 3 things that The Outer Worlds 2 thrives on, which has made it one of my favorite games of the year. So
Okay. They might have fixed the colors, because they're not like, they desaturated a little bit. And I like what's going on here in the background. Yeah, oh, okay. I might be wrong about this one. Well, not exactly wrong, but I might shift a little bit. It might be an 8 out of 10.
far. Planets are dense and explorable with meaningful content everywhere, while also being big enough to just get lost in, to wander around in, to see something in the distance and go check it out. They also have their own step-out moments that allow the art team to flex a little bit, alongside just showing off the scale of this game, which I was not ready for. The game is constantly reacting to me, whether it be skill checks.
Okay, I don't like the characters again. The character is very off.
And dialogue, or
And also the filter for everything, and then it's not on the character again. See, I'm gonna have complaints, and I'm also gonna gas it up a little bit.
object interaction. Loot is exciting because the rare things you actually do find play differently than the standard weaponry that you are typically using. And so the unique loot in this game is no longer strictly dependent on
This looks like an upgraded version of a Borderlands 1 area where you fight the Guardians for the first time. That's what this area looks like, and I dig it. And it seems like they really did desaturate it slightly. But I also don't like the teal filter that they got on this whole area.
the science weapons, but rather a lot of the modifications that you get for these weapons that allow all of them to function differently. This allows for a lot more build crafting, but also, just to be frank, like exciting exploration, fun build crafting, because you just get these new toys and you want to find new ways to use them. But because the game doesn't allow you to respec every 2 seconds like every other game does, you have to be very deliberate about your build choices. As a sci-fi fan who loves role-playing titles, but also this sense of openness and exploration,
Right here, I don't like this. It's too much green, and it's like color slop.
that's why Starfield like missed so much for me in a lot of areas. And that sense of emptiness never really left me, to the point where here we are 2 years later and I'm still talking about that feeling. But I think
This looks fucking amazing right here. This looks fucking amazing. With the planet up in the sky, the way the night sky looks, there's no color filter on.
finally the void has been filled. Keep in mind though, I also did really love The Outer Worlds 1. So will you
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was all right. It was no Fallout New Vegas for me, but that's one of my favorite games of all time. So it's going to be kind of hard to top that. And I don't think that the new remaster or whatever that's rumored is going to be nearly as good as the original. They're going to get rid of the heart and soul of it.
Like this, if you,
Like the Oblivion remaster did for me.
you didn't like The Outer Worlds 1. I just did a full retrospective of it on Retro Rebound this year, and I still think the first game is charming and replayable.
I do like whatever her name is right here. I did like this character. She was cool. Parvati.
Still, some issues with the game do crop up. For instance, companions outside of Parvati are mostly lower tier. The DLC does save characters like Ellie, who otherwise had, I think, little place in the story, which is funny compared to the game's original marketing. Other issues were things like combat, which was just so boring because no matter...
And it seems like they really fixed the color slot for the most part. And that was one of my main complaints.
No matter what you did, it was just easy. And I think some of the DLC ameliorates that, but it still was too little too late. Flaws were a cool idea that gave the series a sense of identity, but I ultimately skipped on almost all of them because they always seemed very much self-sabotaging, and that just wasn't fun as a player. The game's role-playing mechanics, while strong as a skeleton, were reduced thanks to a leveling system that made you great at everything, and skill checks that lean too hard in favor of the illusion of choice, where any build would pass by many of them, and in turn, a supposed unique solution would just become available to everyone, and as an RPG fan, that didn't feel too great.
Hold on. I not this guy. Fucking hate this guy. I like this guy's design. This old dude with the mining helmet. Good design for a character. And it's just like a basic character.
Everyone, and as an RPG fan, that didn't feel too great. And while it was not the case for me, the writing style being constantly driven through dark comedy definitely became a turnoff for many people as they chugged through the game, or at the very least, it became less replayable for them.
Yeah, it got old pretty quick. Especially with like everything being dark comedy.
Yeah, I never said it was perfect, but The Outer Worlds 1 is a game that I really love. So with all of the issues laid out for the game, does The Outer Worlds 2 address that? Are you getting something really different here? I think I may have some good news for you. In many ways, The Outer Worlds 2 is a bigger, better version of the first game. If you felt like there was some stuff that was untapped in the first game, I feel like they...
It was all right character. She looks like an older character. She's not very pretty, but you know, I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, I need every female to have giant tits and have the smoothest skin. Smooth skin. Like, I'm an actual fan of old Bethesda games, and that's kind of what this is supposed to be, is like a new Bethesda game. Even though it was from Obsidian, the people who made Fallout New Vegas. But you know, you get what I mean. The old Bethesda characters were garbage. They just had really good writing.
Just completely poured on in this game. It definitely listened to the feedback of the game's tone, grounding it in something a lot more serious and personal. It still has a sense of ridiculousness constantly, thanks to its quirky factions.
I didn't like that guy. I don't like nose rings.
That I'll get into a little bit later. But there's a level of high stakes with the plot here that did make me buy in. The characters and the
what the fuck? What are these characters?
Struggles they have feel very real, and again, that allowed me to buy into this universe more. It's a little bit of what Parvati did for me with the first game. Yes, I have people from Spacer's Choice trying to sell me things as they're dying, but at the same time, Parvati's love story...
I really like Parvati design. She's really cool. I wish they kind of would have stuck more with this energy.
It was just so interesting and so wholesome that just brought me in deeper. I think the game understands that people...
Is this a male or a female?
Had some issues with the constant attempts at comedy and did try to ground itself again in something
like, obviously, gaming of old, this is obviously a male, but I don't know, man. They mix it up so much now. Like, this could be a female. I don't know.
A lot more serious, which is a war. The role-playing in this game is, I'm going to be frank, a complete deconstruction of Fallout New Vegas. From its leveling system, bumping individual skills and perks that you unlock every couple levels, to its skill checks providing unique solutions. Like, I just really did have...
This character's fine. She's not very pretty, but once again, like, I don't have to have every character be pretty. I just want at least some of them, and I don't want them to be absolutely fucking uggos trying to be presented as being pretty.
this game running through my brain constantly while playing it. And I don't say that lightly. I don't know if it's as good yet, so please don't misinterpret it, but Obsidian absolutely studied what made New Vegas so good to make Outer Worlds 2. I think the best thing I can say in a year that gave us the likes of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is it really felt like the Outer Worlds 2 so far has been constantly reacting to me. The only thing I haven't really seen yet are like the end states. Like, okay, I did these side quests. Like,
I want mods that can allow me to change the way the characters look slightly, and I want some color filter mods to pretty much either change the color filters or get rid of them outright.
Where do these characters end up by the end of the game? How do things move forward? How does the game talk to me about the things that I did? But in the short term, in the midterm, you do get a lot of...
I don't like this character, man. I'm just gonna keep talking about it, how I just don't like the designs of the characters and this fucking color filter.
But the amount of just skill checks provided in dialogue alone for perks you...
This one's fine. Like, his face matches the fact that he has gray hair and a gray beard.
Have
for the most part.
Skills you have is unreal, and it feels like the game is just always
what the fuck, man?
Providing unique solutions for what's ahead. I would not put it on the level of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 at all, but I would say that it's a very competitive choice-based RPG.
And see, this character's fine.
In a genre that has gotten increasingly tough to kind of crack through to that high quality bar. But I also love that the skill checks take place outside of dialogue. This is something that Fallout has done for a while, but I feel like so many other games are allergic to outside of the likes of, say, Larian with Baldur's Gate 3, where you can actually interact with objects in the environment. If your skills are high enough, you could find wholly unique solutions to quests.
I do like that
alone, or accessing unique information. The game is constantly logging this information on the back end. If you read a terminal log, it'll say this will be remembered. If you talk to a companion, it'll say this will be remembered. And this information, when you're digging for it, can be expressed in quest lines where you can ask characters unique questions or make unique comments to them because you have access to that information because you invested yourself in somewhere else. And because
all right, I think you just about sold me. I think I'm probably going to get this game. I'm not going to get it full price, though, because the Outer Worlds 1 situation, when that happened, it was fucking broken whenever the actual definitive version came out. It was worse than the original release version. Like, that looked like shit. So I'm going to wait a while, but I think I'm going to get this. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully Obsidian gets better at this and actually makes games that people want to play and not just games that they want to build an agenda and then build a game around that agenda.
That, again, it feels like the game's just always speaking to you. It doesn't mean that everything you do is going to be a wholly unique quest line and solution to it, but again, it feels like the game is always reacting to the actions I'm taking, and I think that's the signs of a really great RPG. But if you're wondering, like, can you be a complete deranged psychopath, kill everyone, destroy towns? Like, yes, there's a reputation meter in the game, and I have yet to see...
I don't really care about that, though, because I didn't really do that in Fallout New Vegas either.
What happens when you get fully in a negative with a faction, but I know when you're, like, trusted by them, they'll give you better vendor prices, but I have yet, again, to see what that end state is like. I also will just add in here with the reputation system that so far, after 30 hours, it hasn't been a bit of a push and pull kind of system where, like, I help Auntie's choice, therefore the Protectorate doesn't like me. It's more...
What the fuck? What is this chick? I not a bad design. I like it, actually. It's like reminiscent of Tim Burton.
Like, you do something with Auntie's choice and they like it, but even if it negatively impacts the Protectorate, I haven't seen, for example, that meter go down much. So I feel like...
I don't know. I think this might end up, like, it's definitely not a 7 out of 10. It's definitely not a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I think it's going to land on an 8 out of 10, which I think is enough to get me to get this game when it's on sale. Not even like a deep sale. I might just get it whenever it's, you know, $20, $30 off. Probably around next summer.
I think it's been a bit difficult to get into the negative graces of another faction based on choices I'm making for one or the other. So again, that's where, like, we'll do a final verdict video next week when I'm done with the game. But right now,
there's something weird about this chick. Oh, I know what it is. Her head's too small. Or maybe her body's too big. Other than that, I like this character design.
Now I have to see where these end states end up, because they could definitely push me all the way over the top and be like, oh my god, they did it.
Ooh,
It could also
this place looks good.
push me in a direction.
This reminds me of BioShock mixed with like Megaton from Fallout 3.
Like, okay, so it's a great game that's reacting to you, but there are some shortcomings. I also have to say, they have made the flaw system way, way better. So much better, dude. Like, it's actually...
Okay.
Okay, so
I thought the flaw system was a great idea, but implemented kind of meh. Yeah, if they made it better, good.
Played the Outer Worlds 1 multiple times now, and I literally never touch the flaws. I don't know if I'm crazy for that, but I never touch the flaw system.
Yeah, I tried to touch the flaw system. I didn't like it.
While with the Outer Worlds 2, I have taken on so many, because it's that tug of war that I think the flaw system should be. The sort of, okay, I'm losing something here, like I'm taking 20% more damage from auto mechanicals, but I'm also giving out 20% more damage. That sort of stuff. They do that with the flaw system, where you actually gain something by taking it on. It's not just like, you know, the game still has some of those cheeky flaws, like, hey, you looked in the sun too much, so if the sun's up, like, your accuracy is just worse. It's like, okay, like, I don't want to do that. But they have made the flaws way better, way more interesting, way more, should I actually take...
I could see where accuracy being worse would be kind of good if it has a good trade-off. Like, if you're using a shotgun, or if you're using close range or something, or melee. You don't need accuracy if you got melee.
Like that. I did one for consumerism where my character's like a dumbass, I buy everything type of character, and it's hilarious how many dialogue options it opens up and how clueless you get to be. But it also does give you better prices. And I will throw out there, compared to the first game, the companions are a much stronger collective this time around. Now, as much as I love the first game, I do think of Parvati and Shudder at how hard she carries that game, because without her, I think it would be a totally different conversation. The second game, while there is yet to be a Parvati level of love...
I like this. I like this. I like the design of the robot, and I like the colors that are happening on screen right now. It's not just puked at me.
For a character that I have, there are much stronger ones across the board. Each companion is basically...
This guy? I like this guy. This guy's cool. This guy's armor also not color puke.
An ambassador for each of the factions of the game, and in turn have their own grounded...
Whatever this character is. Okay. All right. Let's go, man. I'm kind of excited. I'm glad to be kind of wrong about this. Even though I just pushed it up a point. It was a 7 out of 10. Now I think it's going to be an 8 out of 10.
Values and their own mission, and they're here for that, not just for you. And
like, this area doesn't have that filter. You know what I mean? It's like, not the whole area is not the same color with like slight differentiations, and then throw in some fucking purple there. No, it's like, and there's no hardline lighting like there is in a lot of games like Marathon, where you got orange and then there's a line where everything's just blue. No, you got this blue area and it fades into this yellow. And then she's also part of the yellow light. Or it looks like a she though. I like it. And how the bench is also like faded halfway into it. Good.
Own mission, and they're here for that, not just for you. And they'll make that clear, like after certain missions, side quests, they'll react to you and be like, yo, I didn't like that. Like, why'd you do that to my people? And they'll threaten to leave. Like, if this happens one more time, I'm out of here. And as the game carries on, it feels like those consequences are growing. One of the things I think this game does really well is how everything gradually grows. By like the midpoint in the game, I thought I was getting to the end, and then 2 more planets unlocked that were huge. And I was like, oh my God, I still have so much left of this game.
Cool.
At that point,
all right, I'm done. I'm done listening to it. I'm probably gonna play this game. Maybe I'll play it on Game Pass. Shit, man, fuck. Well, I love to be wrong about video games. I love when I say I think a video game is gonna be mid, and it turns out it's not mid, and this might even be great. Damn. Okay. I'm into it. Definitely not gonna be like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, but who knows? Maybe it'll be a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 to me, just like Fallout New Vegas, because that's definitely not a 10 out of 10 game. But to me, it's 10 out of 10, one of my favorite games of all time. Tell me what you think about all this down there in the comments. Donate to the Fables Folly Farm.